Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is a Grille. It's the Tier 5 German SPG, and we're located on the westbourne of Arctic region, otherwise known as the Mannerheim line. And this Grille is under the command of Talon 1958, and you can see he's got one mark of excellence on the barrel. So he's played it quite a lot, and he's quite good at it as well. So let's see how he gets on. Now, built on the chassis of the Hetzer, which is also the chassis for the Panzer 38T, which is also the chassis for the Light Viz 38, and is also the chassis for the Marder, or the Marder 38T. It's quite a good chassis. It's made in Czechoslovakia. Oh, one of his teammates stopping rather suddenly there. And Talon's actually taking him a long way east here, taking this Grille into, well, not uncharted territory, but he's certainly taking closer to the enemy than you normally expect. And I think I know what he's going to do. He's going to try and exploit some of these little holes a little closer to the enemy to do a lot more damage to them at close range. Okay, he's found his firing position and is now looking for targets ahead of him. And he's found his first one. And it's a KV1 and a KV2R, the premium version. He's going to try and hold these heavies back. He's dialing in on the KV1 first. Fully dialed in. And it lands just in front. RNG says, no, you're not getting that hit. And although it was perfectly aimed, it still didn't hit the target. But he's got an M6 to fire at now. He's got a 19-second reload. He's using chocolate, which speeds up the reload, speeds up the accuracy, and 99 hit points from a direct hit there. He tracked that T1 on both tracks. Okay, he's going for an AMX M445. This is a Tier 7 game, by the way. He's Tier 5 Arty, so he's going to earn a lot more XP here. And that one lands in front of the AMX. Now, one of the enemies moved closer. It's the KV1, but he's lower on hit points now, so I think he can probably damage him badly with this shot. Oh, it lands again, right in front. Even though perfectly aimed, it still lands in front of the target. RNG says absolutely no way on that case. So he's dialing in on the OI experimental. Now he's aiming slightly lower than normal. And the worry is it might hit the rock, but it looks like it did hit the target. There was no explosion though, because the OI was unsighted at the time that he fired. Now he can't hit the tanks down below because they're too close. Yep, that M6 is just slightly out of sight. I actually referred to that M6 as a G1. It is an M6. It's the next step up. Still a useless tank, but some people like it. He's got a very difficult shot. You can see he's got a red line. He's just too close. He can't get the gun angled to fire at that target. Now that KV1 moves, so I think there's another enemy tank just behind it. But he's switching targets. There's a Thunderbolt in the gully to the north of him. He's dialing in. Still got a few seconds before he'll be ready to shoot. Okay, he's ready to shoot now. Rounds out. Direct hit. 256 hit points. You can see this picks up some stun assists as well. Almost ready to shoot again. Really helps using chocolate as a premium consumable. Speeds up the game no end, or speeds up the firing no end. It also helps if you get brothers in arms on your crew, and I think that Talon does have brothers in arms. That's why his reload is down to 19 seconds. Now there was a target there. Panzer 4H. He fires a round in. We don't see any results, so we don't know if he hit anything because we moved away before the shell arrived. But yes, the KV1 wreck was being pushed by the KV2R. I thought I saw it move. Okay, rounds out on the KV2R and he gets a hit. 160 hit points. That was a good strike. Going for the OI experimental. But no, he's switched and changed his mind. T67 is getting rather close, but he hasn't got the gun depression to hit that one. That's the problem. He's so close to that T67, he couldn't get the angle unless the T67 was almost on top of him. And in fact, he would be shooting shotgun. Now he missed the KV2 there. Going for the OI experimental. It looks like that T67 threat has been removed and the enemy is moving forward. The AMX M445 is making an approach. Round out. Yes! Got a hit. Good hit. 258 hit points. Of course, the AMX M445 is basically an M4 with more armor on it. It's the French version designed in 1945. Now, we've lost sight of all the enemy because most of our forces are further back, but he gets the kill! He correctly judged that the AMX was still there, and he was! Going for a shot on the KV2, who's still trying to push that wreck and use it as cover. That's going to be a mistake because he'll just be too close, and this round hits. Oh, it hit the wreck of the KV1R. Oh, but it would KV1, but it would have actually damaged the KV2R. Reloading, should be able to get another shot. This time he might be able to get the KV2. He's still got a lot of hit points though, that KV2. Rounds out. Direct hit, 164. It's very risky being in a forward position like this because although you're likely to get shots on the enemy, you wouldn't be able to get shots on otherwise by being at the very back. And of course it means that the short range of the Grille is not much of a problem. It is a problem. Oh, he got another hit on the KV2R. It is a problem if you confront an enemy face to face. And sometimes if the enemy pushes on this position, you might find yourself right in front of the enemy. So he's working out that the KV2 is pushing back, pulling back. He fired a round in there, and I'm not sure the KV2 pulled back enough. We've got a Scorpion, a Tier 7 American tank destroyer moving forward. He might be able to spot for us. I think the KV2R will still be hugging the rock face on the other side. But the OI experimental might still be there behind that rock. Scorpion's going for a quick look. No, he's not there. He's gone back to the cap. And the KV2R has also gone back. So they might be around the corner. Yes, they are around the corner. They pulled back to this corner because it's more of a defensive position. They are losing after all. They're 2 tanks down and it's very difficult to get a shot at this range, but he's dialing in because he's so close to the rock face. It's more difficult to lob a shell up over the rock into that target. Oh, it was very close to the OI. He stunned him, and a GW Panther on the enemy team is headed back to the cap area, and there's the KV2R. He's back at the cap, defending the cap. And there's a Wolverine from the enemy team. Tier 5 American tank destroyer. And he's just suffered a hit. And that one, he didn't fully dial in before he shot. But we're going to go for the GW Panther. Hopefully he'll still be there. He's going to try and go for a splash kill, I think. Round out. Well, it lands between where the Wolverine and the GW was last seen. And it's fairly close to both of them. Not sure it damaged them though, that's the problem. Ah, and the GW goes down. There's only 3 enemy remaining. It's the Wolverine, the KV2R, and the Arty, which is a Grille. We haven't seen the Grille yet. We can't get that KV2R. Just too close to the rock face on the other side of the rock. He's in defilade. But they've killed the Wolverine. And the last remaining enemy is... Oh, we just lost our T-67. The last remaining enemies are the KV-2R and the Grille. Our Su-85 is moving up. That's a bit dangerous with the KV-2R because obviously he's got the dirt gun, the 152mm. There's only 2 Arty and 1 tank destroyer, the Su-85, left on our team. If that Su-85 goes down, then it's 1 Arty and a heavy versus 2 Artys, and that's going to be difficult. What we really need to do is for the Su-85 to locate the KV-2R and then for Talon to take him out. I think he's going to have to get a little closer and probably go into the woods to the right of this position in order for us to shoot at the KV-2R. Either that or the Su-85 is going to have to go into the cap area and draw the KV-2R out. But I rather suspect that the Grille is still in the northeast corner of the map, that he hasn't gone any further. Su-85 is going around the other side. We do have an S51 on our team. He's got the whole range of the entire map, so he can fire from his current position on the southwest corner of the map and still hit the KV-2R if he goes around the corner. But if he stays where he is, I don't think the S51 can hit him. And the Su-85 hasn't spotted him yet. Now he's spotted him. And he's only got 12 hit points. So he's a one-shot for the Su-85. But the Su-85 is also a one-shot for the KV-2R. We can't hit him from here. Yep, he needs to go to the right, go further forward and to the right to be able to get a shot on the KV-2R. And he might come across the Grille when he does this. He's almost at the edge of the map. There's the barrier. We can't see the enemy Grille. Now, has he got a shot on the KV-2R? I don't think so. He needs to go a little further up in the woods area. But he's going to try a shot anyway, I think. He could try a shot. Slightly short. No, it didn't work. It was worth a try. Because if the KV-2 had been hugging that rock face and was reluctant to go over the dragon's teeth, the bumps, the concrete bumps, he would have been located where that shell landed. Su-85 is trying to go up around this side now. I think maybe Talon needs to move a little further north to get the angle. He's still indicating where he's aiming. And that's useful because it tells the Su-85 what he's looking at. There's the KV-2R. Oh, he's killed us. And we take him. 12 hit points. He took out our Su-85, but now it's 2 Arty versus 1. And we're just going to try and work out where the enemy is. Well, there's 1 minute 56 left on the clock. That was the 2-minute hooter. So he's going to have to get into the cap quickly. He needs to get into that cap quickly because otherwise he's not going to be able to cap out on his own. He would need the S51 to join him to cap out. And it looks like he hasn't left it long enough. Nope. He's not going to be able to cap out now. And the S51 says you've got to go find him. Well, yep, that's true because you can't cap out now. You haven't got enough time to do it. And my suspicion is that the Grille might be in those next to those bunkers ahead. Looks like we've got more Katyusha rockets coming in. Well, that was the 1 minute hooter. Well, he's aiming for next to the bunkers. If that was the case where the Grille was located, I'd be surprised because he should have actually engaged the Su-85, but he didn't. So my suspicion is the Grille is nowhere to be found. He's not here. Oh, he's been spotted. So he's probably just around the corner. There he is. Okay. Oh, he tries a shotgun. Now drives straight up to him. And the S51 fires and misses. But I'm not sure who's going to be able to fire first. And the clock is ticking down. And I think that's going to be a draw. Oh, dear. He missed out on a kill there. And yes, it was a draw, but it was an ace tanker for Talon, 1958 in the Grille. He also picked up a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He got 13 in that battle. And he picked up a Gore's medal. He did more damage, exceeding 8 times the hit points for his own vehicle. Well, a win 8 of 6717, that does say a lot, but I think he probably could have got that last kill if he'd held his fire. And after the Grille fired and missed, he could have just driven straight up and shot him straight in the face at point blank range. No chance of missing. Absolutely solidly, he would have won the game at that moment. But it can be very tempting to fire prematurely. And of course, the Grille on the enemy team made the mistake of firing prematurely and missed. So it's you know, let the other guy take the first shot unless you're absolutely certain you can hit the target, because then you can, at your leisure, drive straight up to them and make absolutely certain of your win. So let's have a look at the team scores. Well, he got the highest damage for the game, 2,065 hit points for his team, that is. The KV-2R managed to get the high caliber with 2,755 hit points of damage. The S51 followed up with 1,988. When it came to kills, it was the Tiger P and the KV-2R. The KV-2R managed to get 5 kills. Tiger P and the M56 Scorpion, they managed to get 3 apiece. And Talon managed to get 2, along with the enemy Grille. Forgot to look at base XP. When it comes to base XP, it was actually Talon who managed to get the highest amount. He got 661, followed by the S51 with 578. But the KV-2R, he managed 849 because, of course, this was a draw, and both teams would have actually had the same scores for losing team, except of course that some would have actually ended up with Courageous Resistance Award for getting epic medals. And in this case, that's exactly what happened. So he fired 23 rounds, got 9 direct hits, 9 penetrations, 7 splash, damage of 2,065 hit points, of which 1,905 were at more than 300 meters. He spotted 1 enemy vehicle, that was the Grille. He damaged 6 of the enemy, destroyed 2, did stun assistance damage of 463 hit points off 14 stuns. On a premium account, he earned 41,112 credits, got the Courageous Resistance Award for 5,040 credits, so his total came to 46,152, and after repair and ammunition resupply, he had 34,536 credits left. He got 3 bonds for the Gore's medal. He also picked up 991 XP, got the Courageous Resistance Award again for 597, meaning he took away 1,588 experience points altogether. So, yep, you missed the shotgun, but I think the problem here is holding your fire and waiting until the enemy is so close you can't possibly miss. I've done it myself. I've made the mistake. I fired prematurely thinking that I had a perfect aim on the enemy, and RNG says, no, you didn't. But the closer you get to the enemy when you shotgun, the more likely you're going to kill the enemy. The only problem is you don't want to get so close that you're actually touching the enemy vehicle. I tried that once in an M37 and tried to shotgun somebody right in the side with 105mm on the M37. And of course I blew myself up because I was so close that the explosion was right next door to my vehicle, and we both died and we lost the game, or rather we drew the game. So sometimes it can work against you if you're too close, but get as close as you can to avoid missing the target, and then it usually works. So if you enjoyed this replay, please give it a like and do subscribe to our channel, and hopefully it'll be your replay that I'll be featuring in the next video.